In this lesson about maintaining status, we're going to talk about the full-time enrollment requirements, also address reporting, program extensions, grace periods, travel and temporary leave, and transfer. The first and most important rule for F1 visa holders is the full-time enrollment requirement. To maintain your F1 status, you must always be enrolled full-time in a minimum of 12 units that count towards the program listed on your Form I-20. If you want to take classes outside of your approved program of study, they must be in addition to 12 units. If you change your program of study, you must also notify your DSO within 10 days so that your I-20 can be updated. There are limited exceptions to this requirement, including vacation. If you're admitted to SRJC for summer session and it's your first term of study, then you must enroll full-time in a minimum of 6 units. But after that, summer term is your annual vacation, and any enrollment in summer classes is totally optional. Also, online classes. Each semester, you're allowed to take 1 online class or 3 units as part of your 12 units. In other words, you must have at least 9 units of in-person classes each semester. Hybrid classes that have a blend of online work and in-person class meetings are not considered online classes and do not count against the full-time requirement. However, SEVP has provided an exception to this rule during the COVID-19 pandemic, and students can take more online classes than usually allowed. One other exception is the reduced course load. If you wish to drop below full-time, you must obtain prior authorization from your DSO. The Rcl Authorization is limited to the following situations, including academic difficulty, medical necessity, and in your final term. First, academic difficulty. If you are experiencing initial difficulty with the English language or reading requirements, unfamiliarity with U.S. teaching methods, or improper course level placement, you may request authorization to reduce or drop up to 6 units. You must obtain approval from an academic counselor, and this must occur in your first semester of study at SRJC. If you have a medical condition that inhibits your ability to enroll full-time, you must obtain written recommendation from a medical doctor of osteopathy, or a licensed clinical psychologist to drop below full-time. You may reduce your course load up to 0 units for a maximum of 12 months during your F1 studies. If you are a degree-seeking student and you need fewer than 12 units to graduate with an associate's degree in your final semester at SRJC, you must obtain approval from an academic counselor to take only the classes you need to graduate. You must always provide a valid local residential address and a permanent foreign address at all times. Mailboxes or PO boxes are not valid addresses. Your address is maintained in CVIS by your DSO, and if you move to a new address, you must first update your student portal and second, notify me within 10 days of the change. SRJC will regularly issue the Form I-20 for the following duration: 3 years for an associate's degree, or 1 year for a certificate program or the non-degree program. If your Form I-20's program end date is coming and it's going to expire, but you need more time to complete your studies, then you must request a program extension before the program end date. Your DSO can extend your Form I-20 for a maximum of 12 months. A new bank statement is required, showing proof of additional funding for 1 or 2 semesters of study. Depending on the circumstances of your F1 status, you may be eligible for a grace period after you finish your studies. Unauthorized drop or failure to enroll, 0 days. If you do not enroll full-time, or if you drop below full-time without authorization, or otherwise fail to maintain your status, your CVIS record will be terminated and you will not receive any grace period. You must depart the United States immediately in this case. Alternatively, if you formally request to withdraw from classes and depart the United States before your program end date, you will receive a 15-day grace period. Finally, if you complete your program of study Your F1 status will expire on the program end date of your Form I-20. Upon completion of your program, you will receive a 60-day grace period. During your 60-day grace period, you have several options. You can transfer your SEVIS record to any SEVP certified school upon providing proof of admission to your DSO. You can also apply for a change of status or an adjustment of status through USCIS. You can also apply to USCIS for optional practical training, which was covered in the employment lesson. During your 60-day grace period, you can remain in and travel around the United States, but if you depart the country, you will not be able to re-enter again in F1 status without first obtaining a new Form I-20. All F1 students must have a valid travel authorization signature on page 2 of their Form I-20 upon re-entry into the U.S. To request a signature, just submit the travel authorization request form online before you depart the country. Your DSO will email you an updated I-20 with travel authorization, and you must print and sign this document before returning to the U.S. Travel authorization signatures are valid for 1 year and allow for multiple re-entries. If you need to return to your home country for a semester, you may request a leave of absence and keep the same Form I-20 as long as the break in your studies will be less than 5 months. If you need to be outside the U.S. for more than 5 months, you will need to obtain a new initial Form I-20 with a new SEVIS ID number and repay the SEVIS I-901 fee before returning to the U.S. You must also possess a valid passport and F1 visa for re-entry. As your DSO, it is our responsibility to tell you the rules, maintain your student file, assist you with any F1 status questions, and report required information to the government through SEVIS. As an F1 student, it is your responsibility to understand and follow the rules to maintain your student status. You must check with ISP before making any changes and ask your DSO if you have any questions. Be sure to check with your DSO before you change your program of study, accept any offers of employment, drop a class below 12 units, withdraw from school, travel outside the US, take a leave of absence, transfer to a new school, extend your program, or add or remove any dependents from your I-20. Any questions? Contact us. We're happy to help.